Welcome to Wargroove, everybody. We're gonna do some very hype replays from Groove of War 5 at speed and with commentary. Let's get started. And just in case the theme song didn't quite work, again, welcome to Wargroove. We're gonna be doing some really hype replays from Groove of War 5. Let's jump right into it. The first match we're gonna do is Ash versus Spacefront, the first world champion versus the top ladder player. Oh, this is exciting. We have Spacefront in the yellow, remember their screen name is Martin, and Ash in the green. You know what? They're moving a little bit fast. Let's tone that down a bit to make for some better watching. There we go, nice and slow. Alright, so Spacefront in the yellow, their name is Martin on Switch, and we have Ash, the first Groove of War champion in the world, in green. Now, Dendritic, this impossible to pronounce name is one of the weirdest maps. It has merfolk on both flanks. You can't really build anything else in the ports except for barges. You can build thieves with the hideouts, but not rifles, and there is no way to make a trebuchet. With these weird unit choices and bans, harpies are very powerful, merfolk are very powerful, and we're probably going to see some doggos and some really weird builds. Alright, we see both players have healed, and Spacefront is bringing their swords to the center to try to get some early ground. The merfolk are chipping away at the side villages, and there's an early mage for Ash with an immediate archer. Oh my goodness, instant archer balloon. Ash wasted 0 time in getting that archer rush, which nobody else does on this map, except for maybe Barrett on like turn 6 or 7 or something. That is the quickest archer I've ever seen. Fearless! Spacefront just attacks into Ash's fully forest-defended commander, and Ash is getting really low, protecting themselves with swords on each side, but is that really enough? We could see double sword crit come in here, we could see merfolk hit. I don't think it's enough to kill on forest, though. Spacefront is winning the merfolk war, even starting to attack the enemy port. Big damage comes in on Koji, but there's no kill, and that archer is scary. Brings out the knight, brings out the swords, but not committing to the attack, just waiting. Ash fearlessly sends in the archer and starts attacking everything in sight, using a 5 health Koji to do some damage. Fearless! And the balloon makes for a really great blocker, although that mage can take it down if they can remove the sword, which might be possible. Let's see if Spacefront can get rid of that sword. Sends the merfolk back to heal, sends the mage back to heal, and uses double sword to kill the sword, but unfortunately the mage's turn is spent, so it can't take out the archer. Oh, but Koji clears the top sword and uses the knight to hit the archer instead. Such a good play. Merfolk backs up, can't heal, but that sword is probably gonna die if it goes in for it. Spacefront definitely took control of that exchange. Really great trading. However, its knight takes huge damage from Ash's knight. The balloon goes in as a body block. Ash is not letting up on this attack and brought out a harpy to try to siege the north merfolk. Ash is taking control of the villages on land and Spacefront on sea. Let's see how they're doing on economy. Ash's aggressive land posturing has given Ash the economy lead. Oh, but they just died! They just died! Merfolk hit from the beach, mage crit, and then Koji just smacks him. Ash just straight up died. Really great play from Spacefront. Alright, now guys, we don't have Game 2. Game 2 was unfortunately lost due to the players closing out of the game. I will say that Ash, the previous world champion, did win Game 2, so they're tied up 1-1. The winner of this next match moves on. The loser is eliminated. And keep in mind, guys, we're talking about, like, we're not even to the top 4 yet. And we're going to lose either the top ladder player or the first world champion. That is how intense these matches are. Alright, let's keep an eye on the clock this time because Ash and Spacefront are both known for playing on the slower side. However, in the opening we see Spacefront is blitzing it, wasting no time at all, and same with Ash, they are spending seconds on these first few turns. Although I think Ash's clock jumped down a little bit there, and Spacefront is still going strong. Nope, they're about even, both players taking villages as quickly as possible, and by the way, this is another Koji mirror. Usually we see Koji banned on all these maps, but they must have had so many other bans that they were willing to commit to the Koji mirror. Really great swords capturing all these villages. They're not really contesting anything, they're not doing anything cheesy or tricky. In fact, this is so standard. I've never seen play like this on this map before, because usually we see some really competitive, cheesy stuff. But they're just taking their time, grabbing the villages they can grab, not wasting any attacks or units. We see Spacefront now grouping his units together in the south, and starting to move towards the center with the rest of his army. Take a look at the clock, though. It's turn 5, and Ash has already lost 10 minutes. They're very famous slow and steady play. Ash would probably be the best Wargroove player in the world if you could take a day to take your turn. But unfortunately, you only have 45 minutes for all your turns in this format, and that speed is essential for doing well. So it'll really come down to whether or not Ash can pull off their super big brain strategy in time to beat Spacefront. Alright, we see a knight coming out, we see mages coming out, double sword going in to kill one of Spacefront's swords, and kind of just sitting a pike next to Spacefront's commander? It's interesting. Koji goes in, it looks like that pike is setting up a lethal trap of some kind. Very cool. So Spacefront has a lot of units in the south that aren't really doing anything, and he's sort of inching them towards the front. But, like, that sword, for example, can't hit anything. I don't know what it's doing there. Oh, Koji goes in. Huge damage coming out, and a balloon to block. That's a really nice position from Spacefront. Can Ash punish it? Is there a kill on the table? It doesn't look like there is. Ash just backs up, smacks something with their commander, who is very, very low right now. Are they in kill range? They are not in kill range. 51% end to heal. Yep, they can't die. I think Sword Suicide Commander Strike was possible without that heal. They could have died, though I don't know if 7 Sword really suicides on Forest. At any rate, Spacefront is pushing up. Those swords are taking their sweet time trying to get to the main fight. They're just not making it there. They're just not quite there yet. But that's okay. Spacefront is just defending. He's chill. He's got an archer. And now Ash has to figure out how to attack, but Ash is down to 20, now 16 seconds, 15, 14. They're losing a minute every unit move. This is Ash being very, very famous for being very slow and meticulous. But they have this really solid position as a result of that 12 minutes left on their clock. Look at that clock just go down. Meanwhile, Spacefront has 30 minutes to respond to this. We see Spacefront actually did take a lot of time figuring out this counterattack, about 5 minutes before they started moving units. Good dog crits taking down some of the front pikes. Now we see the archer doing work combined with a sword crit to take down another pike. More swords going in, doing more damage. There's a pike finishing that sword off. Spacefront was able to do a lot of damage here, and now is using balloons and really just sacrificing a harpy to do as much damage as possible and wall for their commander as much as possible. Right, it's Ash's turn, but Ash only has 12 minutes to make this attack, and both Kojis have Groove. Ash has Groove first, but can they really use it to any great effect? I don't know. Seems like Ash is doing their best just to clear units. They're not trying to do anything tricky or crazy. Here's the Groove. Right here, we could see huge damage come out, or we could see the bombs used as walls, but there's a lot of anti-air, so sure enough, Ash just uses them to do some damage. Which goes in on which? And we see the bomb take out a sword, an archer. We see the knight take out a dog. Ash is doing so much damage right now, it's insane. But their opponent is still alive and has a lot of time to figure out this attack. The archer takes out the witch. The mage takes out the witch backs up, the mage backs up and heals. Spacefront has an army of mages against an army of knights. However, taking out that witch means these bombs are now immortal, so Spacefront can use them to stall and defend. Really great positioning with the bomb to protect that knight. And now Ash is really running out of time. Ash only has 5 minutes to make this attack. 5 minutes on the clock, but Ash is doing so much damage. However, his army's looking a little bit thin. Using a knight to finish off a one sword right in range of a harpy, Ash is really getting pushed here, just ignoring the bombs and trying to do as much damage as possible. But their army is really just kind of exposed to Spacefront. Ash is really banking on Spacefront not being able to do enough damage in response. Alright, Spacefront gets a really good crit on that pike, just completely taking it out, and is doing a lot of damage to the mages. Now that's important because if Spacefront can damage all the mages, those bombs remain invincible. Alright, a mage goes down, which is really great. Huge damage to both knights. A bomb just sitting on the mountain. Oh, that pike doesn't go down, so the sword won't be able to hit the final mage. Really great use of putting that sword behind the village so the knight can't walk through it. And now Ashe can't attack, and they only have 4 minutes left, but they have no choice but to back off. Witch goes in, kills the harpy. Koji goes in, takes out a village, just trying to farm Groove again, but there's only 3 minutes left! Spacefront's mage takes so much damage. 2 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes 30. Ashe is trying to make trades, but realistically, they just don't have the army to support fighting right into the enemy barracks with 3 minutes left. Spacefront just has to hold on. Huge crits coming out. Spacefront is now down to only 8 minutes. We see a suicide into Koji, a bomb, another bomb, and Koji hit. That's it. That's GG. Koji goes down. Spacefront takes the win, defeating the first world champion. Spacefront, the #1 ladder player in the world in Wargroove, is moving on in Groove of War 5. But keep in mind, guys, we're not even in the top 4 yet. I don't even know if this match was top 8. It might have just been top 16. This was a crazy match. This was a seriously good match. I'm going to check for you guys on whether that was top 8 or top 16. But either way, we're seeing 2 of the best Wargroove players in the world. Now remember, it looked like a sweep because Spacefront won both games, but actually, Ashe did take a game in the middle, we just don't have it. Let's move on to some more hype games. Sequoia versus Red Jams. Red Jams was the 3rd world champion, and Sequoia is the dark horse, the sudden mysterious contender who appeared. They did really well last year, but didn't go that far in Groove of War 4. They've been taking huge names down this year. Let's take a look at Sequoia's performance against Red Jams. Now, I'm not sure which game this was. They played 3, but I will tell you that the winner of this next game was ultimately the winner of the best of 3. And this game is insanely hype. Let's get into it. Alright, that user is Red Gems. They're always changing their Steam handle, but Red Gems is in the red, as you might expect, and Sequoia is in the yellow. Some of you might have seen me narrate this game with Barrett on their stream. Very solid. If you want to watch our reactions in live time, check that out. Oh, and by the way, guys, we're going to be doing a Zeronics game after this. I won't tell you who their opponent is, but I will tell you that it's the winner of this match. Alright, so we see Red Jams going for an interesting opening. They're using a pike to try to break the rifle out. Remember, this map is open season, so both players have a pre-deployed rifle, but you can't make any more. Sequoia going for an insane, aggressive attack. They're ignoring these villages and just moving up with their commander. This is something that Cleaner Code did to me in our match, and it was terrifying. I responded to it by just retreating everything, putting it all in front of the stronghold, and taking out Cleaner Code with their commander, but that was really hard to do, and not super reliable. I'm hoping that Red Gems had a smarter reaction to this than I did. Take it out. Look at that. Sequoia just going right in for a village right next to Red Gem's stronghold. The commander's right there. Swords are right there. There's so much damage on the stronghold that could happen right now. Sequoia's just gotten their rifle out, and Red Gems has got to respond to this commander. They reload their rifle, but it's only at 4 health. It's not going to do much. And we see that Red Gems is getting their pikes in position to start dealing with Tenri, but Vesper has no fear of their stronghold. They're just putting units in front of it and building a dragon to defend. I really like the defensive dragon there. That will prevent Sequoia's commander from going in too deep, and will punish it for any attack. Sequoia chooses to back off in the face of the mighty dragon and just takes this village on the left, and they're at 75% groove now. Similarly, Sequoia is defending their own stronghold with pikes, and Red Gems goes for a very similar take on the village here. The dragon dives down into the center of the map to threaten everything. To threaten Sequoia's commander, but also to threaten this stronghold. We see swords coming in, and Pike's defending, that rifle is now at full and guarding this entire corridor for any kind of melee troops. Remember, rifles basically just obliterate anything along the lines of swords, pikes, archers, other rifles, any kind of infantry. It also occurs to me that I've had the game sound muted all this time. I'm going to turn that on for you guys. Alright, so the dragon comes in, takes a great shot on the village, but does not get the RNG. That village survives with 1% health, meaning that Sequoia will keep 100 gold, and over 100 gold of damage is done to the dragon. Very unfortunate roll there, but that was not a guaranteed attack. Now we see Sequoia moving into position, kind of edging around this rifle, and getting ready. Now this is interesting because they're exposing a coin flip lethal to Red Jams. A coin flip lethal is a lethal that is not guaranteed. There's about a 50% chance of it working. You should never, ever, ever, ever go for a coin flip lethal unless you are either really confident that you can win even if you mess it up, or you're losing, or you're playing somebody who's so good that you respect them enough that you think it's worth taking the risk, that your odds of the lethal are better than your odds of playing the game. Red Jams, who's supposed to be favored, goes for the coin flip lethal, meaning either that they were really confident about beating Sequoia even if they lost the lethal odds, which they did, or they respect Sequoia enough that they think they're gonna lose, which would be insane. Red Jams is a world champion, and Sequoia is pretty much a feisty newcomer in comparison. I mean, Sequoia's been doing ranked for a long time, don't get me wrong. I just mean, like, in terms of the top, like, 10 players in the world, Sequoia has, I think, recently joined those ranks. Okay, so while Red Jams did not get the lethal roll, they did get a 50% chance lethal, meaning they've statistically won 50% of the game, and Sequoia kind of fubbed the attack on the left. They were able to groove a rifle off of it, but they lost groove. Vesper almost have groove, and Sequoia is winning, but their gains weren't huge. They lost a few units there. Let's take a look. So Red Jams is actually ahead on economy, Sequoia is ahead on units, and the game is still very close. Even though the lethal attempt botched, Sequoia's response was a little bit botched, and as a result, Sequoia is getting pushed back. They have to retreat, but they have an archer and a rifle, and in response, Red Jams has a golem to deal with those. A golem is a really good play because Sequoia doesn't have a dragon. Sequoia doesn't really have anything that can counter the golem. It'll be able to take villages, defend, body block, and do a lot of awesome things. Now we see that Vesper almost has groove and is starting to move into an aggressive position on Sequoia's side of the map. Unfortunately, Red Jams exposed a mage to rifle fire and the mage went down. Losing a free mage will be tough because Red Jams will need every unit they can build. It's important to note that Sequoia loves balloons but has not made a balloon, and it's already turn 10. Red Jams, who also loves balloons, has 2 but only just built one of them. Both players have been so pressured in this match, they were unable to make balloons the entire time. Now, Vesper has groove, but chooses not to use it. Instead, just trying to edge for a better and better position, kind of shuffling dogs around. Also, take a look at the clock. Sequoia has far more time than Red Jams and gets another free kill with their rifle. Unfortunately, their rifle is now out of bullets, meaning that Red Jams will be able to move in without fear of the rifle. If we take a look, Sequoia has a big unit count lead right now and is also taking the economy away from Red Jams. Sequoia is winning this game, and they're about 9 minutes up on the clock. Red Jams is really behind on time. Look, their timer's at 17 minutes. They're taking a lot of time on this turn, but there's a good reason for it. Red Jams is positioning for an attack on the stronghold. They have to get everything right. 16 minutes. 15 minutes. Keep in mind, you're watching this game at maximum speed, but these players were playing this over the course of an hour. Sequoia decides to kill the mage using the knight, which eliminates a great chunk of Red Jam's anti-air, but actually uses the dragon to take out a village on the left, which will reduce Red Jam's income, but mean the dragon will be out of position to defend against a potential upcoming attack by means of Vesper Groove. Witch comes in, and since that mage is dead, Red Jams can't kill that witch, and it's in such an annoying position because the witch protects this sword, and this sword protects anything from walking through the village, which will make it really, really hard for Red Jams to push into this. Red Jam solves the problem by balloon dropping a dog on the other side of the sword and dog critting it, and then using the golem to take out the village, and the dragon to go through the taken down village to open up a path for a knight crit on the mage! Genius play, but Red Jam's is down to 12 minutes. They take out the knight, but do not use the 2 pikes to do it. They use this knight to do it, and now this knight is at 89% health. Also, if you take a look at the knight's position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is not a crit on the stronghold, it is a crit on the thing standing in front of the stronghold. Vesper Groove comes down. Everything in this groove is now invincible, except for Witch Hex. And Tenri Groove, but Tenri doesn't have Groove. Tenri has to defend this stronghold while not losing their commander. But they can't really attack anything. And they just hexed, meaning all those dogs are now potential suicide dogs. Really powerful position, but the use of this dragon, which ultimately cannot be killed because there's not enough anti-air in range, means the left side of the stronghold is safe. Look at that witch, still alive, still being so annoying on the side of Sequoia. And can they even take it out? Heal comes down on the dragon. Dragon attacks the golem, but it's still alive. Golem attacks the HQ, deals 49 damage, and the witch hits the dragon but can't kill it. Sword comes out but doesn't attack anything, it's just holding ground. And Vesper dumps every possible unit in face of this stronghold, leaves that dog on the mountain. Red Jams is running out of time. Sequoia, has 20 minutes, 22 minutes to defend against this attack. They have all the time in the world because they've been beating Red Jams, and Red Jams took so much time to try to figure this out. That witch is still alive, so it can hex again. Huge damage coming out. We see dog suicides, archer hits, and all kinds of attacks into the golem. Tenri can't take it down, so the rifle finishes it off, and a pike takes its place. The golem actually moves out of the way, and its space is taken by a pike because the golem's too low. The 4 dragon takes out a 4... What was that, a dog? And everything is moving forward. Red Jams has got to take out Tenri or the stronghold to win. Now, there is lethal on Tenri this turn, potentially with multiple dog suicides. And Vesper, you can use the dragon as unit removal, and then get a knight crit with this knight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, boom. Vesper, boom. That would have been 90% with the power of dog suicides. You could have had 2 of them, potentially. But ultimately, Red Jams decides to go for the knight crit on the stronghold instead, but it survives with 4% health. I don't know what the odds on that were. But ultimately, Red Jams just didn't get it. It didn't go down. Red Jams needs to take out this stronghold on the next turn. Really, I think they should have gone for Tenri there. But we'd have to do the math to figure out whether the odds of the double dog suicide on Tenri was better than that. I think they were, though. But it's hard to say. Witch Hex comes out. Huge damage coming out from Sequoia. So much damage. Sequoia has 15 minutes to take this turn. There is no reason they should not be able to defend this stronghold, because if you remember Red Jam's clock, Red Jams has 3 seconds left to end the game. Sequoia just has to defend this stronghold in such a way that Red Jams can't kill it in 3 seconds, and they win. But, that archer is on road, there's a dragon right there, and Vesper can hit the stronghold. Can Red Jams do it in time? Dragon strikes the archer, and no! Didn't have enough time left to walk Vesper over and hit the stronghold. Oh my goodness, that match was so hype. Literally came down to the last second. Now, a lot of people, we're gonna have one more match after this. Sequoia will move on to fight Zeronics. But I just want to say about this match, a lot of people have been saying, you know, oh, if Red Jams only had one more second. But keep in mind, Red Jams went for coin flip lethal and didn't get it. There were multiple situations where RNG factored in and Red Jams took a chancier attack. Ultimately, the coin flip was a little bit weird. That was either disrespecting Sequoia, or alternatively, maybe Red Jams thought they wouldn't lose that much if they went for it, but then they lost time, they lost position, they lost unit count. Sequoia played really well and forced Red Jams to use up all of their clock. Red Jams didn't go for a lethal when they had one, they went for a coin flip. There were a lot of things that contributed to Red Jams only having 3 seconds left. So I wouldn't call this game a timer loss. I think if Red Jams had ended their turn a few seconds sooner, sure, they totally could have won. But I think this game mostly came down to the coin flip lethal, Red Jams not seeing the potential lethal on Tenri a few turns before, not moving quick enough when they were slow on time, not moving quick enough when they had enough time. Sequoia playing the clock very well, Sequoia playing position very well against Vesper, who's very difficult to defend against. I would actually say that this game didn't come down to the timer so much, as both players playing a really good game, and I think that if Red Jams had more than 3 seconds on the clock, Sequoia probably would have shoved a dog or something to the south of the stronghold, but that's just supposition. We don't know. We don't know what would have happened. We don't know what would have happened. In any case, whether you think that came down to RNG, the timer, positional play, or ultimately just attack and defense, that was an amazing, insane game by two of the best players in this game, Red Jams and Sequoia. That was crazy. Alright, now Sequoia is moving on to the top 8 after this. This wasn't even... I don't think this was even top 8, guys. This next match is going to be top 8. Sequoia versus Zeronics. Zeronics, guys. You know Zeronics, the legendary player who's supposedly just the best. Previous world champion, and it said they can beat everybody else at this game. Let's see what happens. I will say for the other two matches, Sequoia versus Red Jams destroyed Sequoia on Dendritic with very careful positional play and didn't leave any room for counterattack. And in the other game, there was also a failed lethal by Red Jams on Sequoia. I think they didn't do it the optimal way. Sequoia survived with the way they did it and was able to counterattack and win. So ultimately, it was actually lethal choices that mostly determined the win-loss between Sequoia and Red Jams. Lethals and RNG. And because of that, Sequoia's been saying that they've grinded out their luck stat to maximum. Let's see if that holds true in this match against Zeronics. Now, Zeronics is one heck of a scary player. And Sequoia has certainly proved their mettle, taking out Red Jams. So let's take a look at what exactly this match is going to look like. Sequoia going for a very aggressive opening, moving Sedge to the left side of the map, just charging the center. Meanwhile, Zeronics is going for a more classic opening, kind of moving their commander towards that barracks where they can maybe build a wagon. I'm predicting a wagon here. Let's see if that's what happens. Zeronics takes a bunch of villages, and there's the wagon, sure enough. That'll get Sedge to the front really fast. And it'll mean that if Sequoia captures either of these villages, Zeronics can whack them for free groove. Sequoia, as usual, has no fear. They're just going in, taking the village anyway, even dropping it to 1 health, and putting their own Sedge right there. Zeronics drops their Sedge on a mountain, threatening that 1 health village, and taking a village right in the face of Sequoia. Neither player is afraid of the other commander. Meanwhile, we see a skirmish happening here in the south. We see double swords for Zeronics, zoning in on villages that are supposed to belong to Sequoia. Sequoia just goes in and grabs them again. Hold on, I want to see the economy here. It's pretty close to even. Both players pretty even on unit count. Now we see Sequoia taking the mountain with Sedge, and we see Zeronics' Sedge does go for the village. They'll be a little bit ahead now on Groove. So we see both players have swords and dogs on the right side of the map, and are kind of just treating it as a throwaway, trying to just wrestle this village back and forth and do as much eco damage as possible. But on the left side of the map, Dragon, Mage, Wagon, Double Sword, and Sedge has zoned out Sequoia, and Zeronics was able to secure this village and all the Groove charge that came with it. This puts Zeronics 1 kill ahead on Groove charge. They elect not to recapture this village, leaving it opened so that Sequoia can't use it to farm Groove. Very important. They are leaving a bunch of units open to attack, but Zeronics is probably very confident in their counterattack here. Sequoia decides not to go for it, moves the Witch to the center of the map. We see that this right side is still just a swarm of swords and dogs, both players saving a lot of money for big builds, and Sequoia ultimately is forced to retreat. But let's take a look at the money. Sequoia's ahead on economy, having captured this side, and made Zeronics not want to take this. Whoa! Zeronics just dives right in there, fearlessly attacking that village. Can they do that? Witch Hex, Commander hit, Mage crit. If they get a suicide, they're just dead. That could be GG. Does Sequoia go for it? Whoa! Using Sword crit Witch Hex, they take out the Witch, opening another side on Zeronics. But Sequoia messes it up? They messed it up! Sedge was supposed to stand on top and hit. What happened? Wait, did that really just happen? Did that really just happen? Sedge was supposed to... Oh, I know what happened. It's that game, it's the UI bug. Okay, so if you are standing next to the person you want to attack, and you move the mouse like this, and then hover over them, it'll reset the arrow to the most optimal position. It's really annoying when that happens. Sequoia probably should have won the game right there. If they moved Sedge, you have to hit the move command and then attack. It's really weird and only happens in this unique situation. I bet that's what went down. Was Sequoia just denied the chance to beat Zeronics? Whoa, now Zeronics is going for a lethal. I mean, of course. They get that dog suicide. No, they're not going for a lethal. Are they? I can't even tell anymore. Huge damage from that suicide, but it looks like they're backing up and not going for the lethal. Nope, just completely backing up. Zeronics is retreating. This game is crazy. Both players are playing this bloody and dangerous game, but Zeronics has groove and Sequoia doesn't. I really want to ask Sequoia after this, guys, and I'll leave a comment down below whether or not the UI bug got them on that turn, because it looked like they should have just won right there. That was crazy. Okay, lots of mages coming out for Zeronics. The enemy really only has witch balloons, so I don't know what all those mages are gonna do against a bunch of swords and dogs. And a witch! It's like Zeronics is pounding the anti-air. I would have built like knights in this situation. Sequoia has an archer, which is gonna be pretty good at defending against those pikes, but I don't know. I feel like Zeronics' army can just fly in and maul everything, like lots of 5 movement speed units, a balloon for the slower units, a dragon. Both players are really even in this game. Take a look at this. Even economy, pretty close to even unit count. Sequoia's ahead 2 at the end of their turn for double racks. That's even. We see Zeronics ballooning Sedge to a different position away from the stronghold. It looks like he's rotating position in order to get a better attack. Sedge has groove, so Zeronics wants to fight now and carefully before Sequoia gets it. Zeronics wants to beat Sequoia to that duel where Sedge is really strong. That's probably why, actually, that Zeronics' army is so fast. But he exposes a sword hit, and is now defending Sedge with all of their might. Sequoia doesn't want Sedge to die here, and they really wanted groove. Sequoia has double archer and is doing a full rotation, moving the archers carefully into position. We see their clock is at about 30 minutes, which is really impressive because they've only spent 15 minutes on 11 turns against Zeronics, who's actually 9 seconds down on time against Sequoia. Sequoia is beating Zeronics! I don't understand this. It's amazing. How has Sequoia gotten this good? They both have groove. But Sequoia is ahead on time and possibly had a lethal earlier. I don't even know what's happening right now. Keep in mind, guys, this is only game 1. There's 2 more games to be had between these two. So it's not gonna define anything, but ultimately this is insane. Sequoia has gotten so good at this game. We see 3 archers. Very good units for Sedge. A witch. Sequoia is definitely prepared for the Sedge play. And a bunch of dogs. It's clear that Sequoia just wants to attack into Zeronix' formation and start getting a bunch of Sedge groove chains. Alright, we see the balloons coming out. It's clear that Zeronix is going to reposition to try to defend against this, but with 18 minutes on the clock, can they defend? Dragon comes out, sword. Great repositioning by Zeronics. They have 2 archers of their own. Both players are just waiting to obliterate the other side's army the first chance they get, and Sedge groove takes a lot of time. Sequoia just randomly kills a tower with a knight, because why not? Why not? And is working away at Zeronix' economy, but if you take a look, Zeronix is actually ahead. They took all these villages during all that fighting. So Zeronix is ahead on the monies, but behind on the time, and time is what you really need in a Sedge fight with this many stinking units! Guys, I don't even know what to say here. Another witch comes out for Sequoia. Sequoia now has 2 witches to fight into Zeronix' 2 witches. Is that another witch? 3 witches. They're just building lethal pressure and Sedge pressure. Whichever Sedge gets a strike first is going to be able to obliterate the opponent's army, but there's a catch. And that catch is, neither player has enough time to do it anymore! With 15 minutes left for Zeronics and 18 minutes for Sequoia, if they don't start fighting soon, if they don't actually attack each other, they're not going to have enough time to use Sedge Groove! Because it takes a while for the animation to play, the unit to die. It takes a while to calculate your positions after each groove. Sequoia is playing really well and really fast. And they just leave Sedge, like, right there, and maybe they can. Zeronics is still going for economy, which I personally think is a huge mistake at this point. Because you don't have enough time to win. You don't need money, you've got money, you're winning on money. Send your witches forward and start hexing everything. I don't know. Another witch, a fourth witch comes out for Zeronics. I think Zeronics is just going to get 10 witches and try to win the game that way. Zeronics down to 13 minutes. Sequoia down to 17 minutes. Sequoia finally attacking. It's about time. We see Archer go out, and that gives Sedge the first groove. But take a look at the clock. 16:24, right? Now Sequoia's next movement. That took 3 seconds. It's going to take 3 seconds every time they do that. Oh, look at that hex. Beautiful. Sequoia is able to get that sword kill over there, and then reset. Will this be a victory for Sequoia? Night crit. That enables another Sedge Groove. Amazing. Sequoia is picking apart Zeronix' formation. I really didn't like that night attack into that village. That was just... Here we go, another Sedge Groove. Sequoia is doing really well. They're doing all this in about a minute. They made all these calculations and are making the groove with animation, all these movements. They're doing it in a minute. We've seen players take longer on one turn. Oh, but the mage doesn't go down to 3, so the chain stops. Sequoia does a full retreat and puts lots and lots of stuff in front of their commander. Village to the north, mountain to the south, forest on the right, and you can't really get to the left. Sedge is probably really, really safe there, but you never know with Sedge Groove. And a ballista comes out. I don't even know why. Sequoia might just be memeing, but that ballista is never even going to make it to the front in time. I don't know. Why did Sequoia build a ballista against Zeronics? Zeronix takes out a witch. That's a really big win. Takes out another witch without those hexes. Sedge is going to have a really hard time. We see all kinds of units getting lowered into groovable range, but Zeronix is down on time. They're really pressured here. A long drawn-out fight does not benefit them. Okay, really great Sedge chaining, but Zeronix is down to a little under 12 minutes. And we see that their clock is dropping, yeah, 3 seconds of Sedge Groove, same as Sequoia. They are playing very fast. They clearly know what they're doing. More witch hexes are coming out. Archer is used, but it's not enough to get the knight low enough, so the witch hex takes care of it. This is why they're building so many witches. Alright, so now Sedge can get a double chain on the knight and the archer, but Zeronix is down to 10. Is it enough? I can't even tell who's winning in this position. But if they kill all the mages, then I guess the witches can just keep hexing and kill Sequoia that way. We see wagons come out. Wait a minute, where is Sedge gonna go? Into the balloon is the answer to reposition onto the mountain where they'll be safe and can move to any position that their front units occupy, so Sedge can run and groove anything that kills his stuff. Sequoia actually going for a knight hit on this village, but that's smart because the knight can now crit this stronghold. Sedge is going in. Sedge has 7 health, but they can do that with Groove Chain. Sequoia has like about 4 minutes on Zeronix, which is a really big deal when there's like 10 minutes left. Really great sword crit. If you look at that mage, it's in Sedge range for sure, 28%. Sedge is just rotating around the map, trying to get kills, trying to pick off Zeronix, do as much damage as possible. Zeronix goes for the far one first, so that they can then back up to the 2. Very smart. We're probably going to see that witch go down, but it could go down to a number of different things. We see the archer used on the sword so that Sedge can go around and get the sword next, which is why the mage probably delayed killing that witch so Sedge could stand there. And Sequoia has been figuring all this out with barely any time. Another witch goes down. Huge win for Sequoia, but they're down to 10 minutes. Sedge heals and returns to that really safe spot they keep retreating to. And mage heal goes down to heal everything else. What is the witch count right now? I feel like we almost need to like display that on the screen. Sequoia is out of witches. All their witches died because they built this stinking ballista. Meanwhile, Zeronics has 2 witches left. Hex is still coming out, still attacking, but they're 2 minutes below Sequoia, and they really have got to end this game like now. They're just doing their best to do as much damage as possible. Is this going to come down to the wire? I don't feel like either player was stalling this game. I feel like both players played exceptionally quickly. This wasn't like watching Ash, who really suffers on the clock, or Red Gems, who does pretty well on the clock, but just couldn't keep up during some critical turns when they fell behind. This is like watching 2 players who are using their time very, very carefully. Very, very well. And Red Gems is amazing at this game! Like, I'm talking as if Red Gems wasn't, like, insanely good at this game. Like, if they weren't, like, one of the best. Like, this is just... I don't even know how to describe it. This is the best Wargroove play I've ever seen. That's the only way to describe it. Zeronics has gone so deep, but they've killed so many units. They've hexed so many units. It just nails that sword to move the archer into position. There's still a dragon, there's still more stuff Zeronics can do. They only have 6 minutes left, but it doesn't look like they're being pressured out at all. It looks like they're doing amazingly well. Dragon goes in just to kill a sword, because why not? And Zeronics retreats. Now keep in mind that Knight is in crit range of the stronghold. And Zeronics is out of money. They see it. They weren't fooled by that at all. Even while all that attacking, they still realized that was there and put the Knight in range. The Knight goes in on the sword because of course it does, and the Ballista's going to try to back it up. Sequoia's actually attacking on that front because they want to threaten the stronghold, if only to waste Zeronix' time. Mage goes in on the wagon, big damage. Dog goes in on dog, and now that's Sedge groovable, but Sedge chooses to go over here and groove the wagon. This is amazing! This is like... This is the... This is seriously the best Wargroove play I have ever seen. I can barely keep up. I can barely keep up with these 2 players. I don't think I could keep up if this was in live time. Heal goes down on Sedge. Why? Is Sedge going to attack something? Maybe Sedge is going to end their turn in a riskier position, so they needed the extra health. I don't know. Dog goes in. Lots of kills. Zeronix' witches are still untouched, by the way. Zeronix has 3 of those, and they can all be used as damage units against Sequoia Sedge if they need to. Sedge is actually moving across the map to Zeronix' stronghold to put them on the defense. Oh, wow. Use Sedge Groove for a commander-only reposition. That was beautiful. Witch Hex comes down. Lots of damage coming out. Both those dogs in Sedge Groove range. So many things in Sedge Groove. Oh, no, no, no! The mage! The mage has 38%. Sedge cannot groove that 4 mage. That is huge. Grooving that 4 mage could have opened something up, potentially. Yeah, with the dog, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to hit something, to hit that other mage, and then... I don't know. Oh, no, he didn't even need it. He didn't even need it, maybe. Yeah, because the Witch Hex took care of it. No problem. Sedge is going in on the stronghold now. It looks like Zeronix wants to end the game too. Witch goes in, balloon falls. Sedge can just smack the stronghold. Dog goes in and he gets that mage too. So much damage coming out with 3 minutes left. It's turned into a base race. This doesn't even seem like Wargroove anymore. These players are playing an entirely different game. It's like watching an RTS. Dragon comes out, but that was bridge, not road. Sedge just straight up attacks the thing, and Zeronix looks like they've got the game in the bag. There is not kill on that stronghold right now. There's just not. Ballista moves into position. Knight hits it. Sedge can't reach that 2 sword. Dragon goes down, but with all these witches and the mage in the back, can a defense of the stronghold actually even happen right now? And Sedge can just groove anything that gets hit. Really great damage, though. Really great damage. It's turned into an amazing base race. Double balloon blocker, but that's not going to stop the witches. Can Zeronix end this game in time? Right, so they were able to remove some dogs and some pikes here, but they're really short on time. I don't know if they can end it. I don't know if end on this is possible. Alright, that goes down. And another dog will go down to Sedge Groove. Zeronics is actually taking their time to clear every unit possible because they know they need multiple sides on the HQ. Witch Hex goes down. Double Witch Hex in range of a Ballista, but the Ballista's taking so much damage, I'm not sure it can kill the Witches anymore. No! Zeronix isn't going for the HQ. He's just clearing units. Zeronix is going for Sedge. Can Sequoia escape in time? They're able to groove off the low health sword. Maybe putting it there was a mistake. And the Ballista did enough damage to that witch to take it out. I don't know if that was a roll or guaranteed, but that was amazing. And now Sequoia has enough to escape and retreat. And Zeronics has lost their pressure on the stronghold. I don't think they can end the game in time. Sequoia might have won off that play. Dog crit comes down on the archer. Defensive balloon. Mage hit on the pike. This could be it. This could be it right here. I don't think Zeronics can win in time. Hexes are coming out on Sedge, but it looks like a desperation play. One health archer hit plus Witch Hex just so that Sedge could groove and reposition, but Zeronics is running out of time. I don't think that they can kill Sequoia in time. There's just not enough time. There's just not enough time for the play. It was so close. It was so close. Zeronics almost won that. But that was beautiful. That was amazing. Alright. So, let's talk about that game. Wow. I am scared right now. I was like, oh, I'm in the top 8 again. I'm gonna totally win this time. But after watching that... Ay, ay, ay. That was the best game I've ever seen. Okay. Alright, let's talk about that. So, Zero's definitely on one of their better commanders. And Sequoia beat them anyway. I think time pressure kind of forced a fight from the two of them. But I think neither player was willing to attack, really, until time pressure came into effect. I think Sequoia's front switch with their commander was brilliant. I heard people talking about RNG. I don't know if RNG came into it at some point, and Sequoia, like, lucked out on a roll that prevented something, but I couldn't see it if there was. Even if there was. That was amazing. And I think Sequoia had a kill at some point if it wasn't for the UI bug. I'm not even sure that part with the river. I'll ask them, guys. I'll ask them if that happened and put it down in the comments, but that was crazy. Even if there was RNG somewhere in that, that was such an amazing game. I think Sequoia earned that win. They beat Zeronics on one of their mains. Like, Sequoia has definitely, with that game, earned their spot in one of the top players in the world. That was incredible. This has become a Clash of the Titans. The second we got into top 8, even before that, I think we saw amazing players being eliminated, even in top 16. We lost Cleaner Code in top 16. Who else got eliminated in top 16? Was Red Gem's elimination? Yeah, I think that was in the top 16. I'm gonna check on that. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna check on that right now. We'll see if Red Gem's elimination was in the top 16. I'm gonna check on that for you. It was in GMT playoffs. Let's take a look at the bracket. Yeah, both Ash getting eliminated by Spacefront and Sequoia eliminating Red Gems. That was just top 16, guys. That wasn't even top 8. That match we just saw, that was top 8. We are in for some insane matches in the top 8. They're not even done. That was just game 1. Oh my goodness. I'm psyched. I'm psyched. I don't know about you guys. I don't even know if there's... Oh my goodness. This is nuts. Yes. Yes, Duck. This is nuts. I don't even know what just happened. That was incredible. I can't stop talking about it. I'm literally... you know how you're speechless? I can't shut up. Whoa! Sequoia is still in this. Zeronics might get eliminated. If Sequoia eliminates Red Gems and Zeronics, I feel like even if they don't win, no one will ever forget them. Even after this match, I think Sequoia is just officially renowned as one of the best players in this game. That was crazy. Alright, I'm going to look into that comment about the RNG thing. I don't know what that was. I'm going to look into the UI bug thing. If any of that happened during the match, I'll let you guys know in the comments. That's all for now. I really hope you enjoy these matches. Welcome to Wargroove. And if you want to see more amazing matches, you know where to go. I'll catch you guys next time.